Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy John, coming at you with another video for the day. How's it going? Hope everything is good on the other side of the internet. I just eaten food, just came back from the gym. Bodybuilding, of course. I had to make a sacrifice between bodybuilding and jiu-jitsu. And what's really funny is I was playing music, of course, as you do, on my, let me just finish chewing and clean my teeth, because I smile a lot, of course. I'm a joyful person, but I don't want any dirty shit to be in my teeth while I smile. Yeah, it's not too bad. I was listening to music, and the first song that played was a song that they play a lot during the jiu-jitsu rolling session. So I was like feeling a bit guilty. I was like, should I go? I probably should go. Probably should go to jiu-jitsu. But I was like, I haven't been to the gym this week. It's a Thursday today, and need to go get some bodybuilding in, man. I need to get my pecs to grow. And now I realise that my pecs are growing too fast, and my back is actually not growing as good in comparison, because, well, the intensity for the back just isn't there, and the same goes for the legs. I'm not squatting anymore because I just found it really awkward and annoying. I put deadlifts on a hold because I plateaued horribly at around 115 and just wasn't seeing any progress. So I've switched up to high rep variations of the deadlift, so I can just build up some muscle mass, get a bit easy, make it easier for myself, and then build up to the heavier weights that I was doing. So that usually has worked when I've done stupidly high rep stuff in the past. Stupidly high rep. Just as a phase. Because I don't want to stay there forever. Not only does it get boring, but it just plateau again. And you get burnt out really quickly, I find. What I found is high rep stuff for like a few weeks to months. And then you go back into your strength training regime, and all your lifts are like, you're lifting 10 to 20 or even 30 kg heavier than you were before, and without really having done much, without really practiced the heavy lifting. But the funny thing is of course, is if you increase the reps that you do on a high rep schedule, that will translate to strength. So if you can currently do 10 reps for 3 sets, if you can do 15 reps on your first set, and then 13 on the second, and then 12 on the third, you will find that your strength will actually go up and your 1 rep max will increase. So that's a funny way of increasing your 1 rep max. But anyway, I wanted to basically talk about how people who practice mindfulness, the other word for mindfulness is, well, it's not another word for mindfulness, but the kind of life instruction that goes along with mindfulness is called the Dharma, or the Dharmic path. Now, Dharma simply just means law. This is the law, the Buddha said, the Dharma. And the law, of course, he said, was emptiness. He said, realize that emptiness is the law of the universe. You will attain liberation from your life suffering. And what I love so much about mindfulness, and what I love so much about the Dharmic path in specific, is how you can implement it into everything in your life. There is nothing that you can't implement the Dharma in. And if you don't implement it, you're choosing not to. You're choosing not to implement it into whatever it is you're doing. It's very similar to Tantra. Well, Tantra is a subset of Buddhism anyway, so it's going to be saying the same thing. But mindfulness is essentially to be aware and to know that you're being aware. That's it. To know that you're being aware. Now, of course, a lot of the times we can't do that straight away because the mind is always chatting. The ego, but without giving it too many names, the personality, the person who you think you are, the mind is always chattering, and it obscures your natural beauty. You're a beautiful human being, did you know that? And it obscures it, hides it. You don't see it. You don't realize that innocence that you already are. You can't see it because your mind is always chattering away and obscuring the fact that you're innocent and you're beautiful and you're pretty damn fucking amazing, to be honest. Pretty damn amazing. But you can't see that because the small you, little ego me, will see things in a very narrow way. Okay, because it sees it as a thought, and the subjective experience is so beautiful, but it's also very limited. You can only see what's arising in this moment, and the mind is a very cunning person. I say person, a very cunning thing, and it will overwhelm you to the point where you forget who you are. You'll forget. You'll start to think you are the mind. You'll start to think that this chattering organism, which is just going on and on and on, you'll start to actually identify with it, and you'll think that's you. But really, you're the watcher behind the mind. There's an aware presence, you see, because you can be aware of thoughts. If you listen to your thoughts, you can hear them. Who's hearing them? If you are your thoughts, if you are the person in your head that's chatting, who's listening to it? Because you can listen to it, and you don't even have to be doing the thought anymore. You'll just be listening to it. Who's that? A lot of people don't even know that they're not their thoughts. I didn't know that I wasn't my thoughts. And you just simply bring that level of awareness. You don't need to go that crazy about the mind and watching the mind. You just bring the level of awareness to everything that you do in your life. You just become aware. I'm picking up a cup, or I'm putting it down, or I'm talking, making a video, shit like that. You just become aware of things, everything that you do. And the funny thing is, you can be aware anywhere. You can be aware with whatever you're doing. You can be aware walking, talking, taking a shit. You can be aware when you're taking a shit, actually. You can be aware when you're taking a shower, brushing your teeth, going to work. In fact, for me, mindfully working has become a real pleasure, something that I actually look forward to now. I look forward to being mindful at work. I look forward to, obviously, the things that happened before that, but I also look forward to being mindfully aware of the work that I'm doing at work. It's really nice. Mindfully talking to people, mindfully sitting, standing, talking. You experience life in a very different way, a profound way, mind you, but a very different way to the way you were seeing it before. Because before, you were kind of like being there was a mental commentary on everything, and you were making every moment that you encountered in your life either good or either bad. This is a good moment, this is a bad moment, this is a good moment, this is bad. And your whole life is filled with these judgments. But if you just take away those judgments for a few moments, you just witness life as it is, there's a difference. You experience it very differently to before. And you can choose now, do you want to experience life the way you were experiencing it before, with judgments and all these commentaries and labels and just labeling everything, There's drinking water. Simplest way I can explain it is there's drinking water, and then there's saying to yourself, I'm drinking water. Tastes very nice. It's talking over everything that you do, or there's just doing it. And a lot of the times we're talking when we're doing everything, but we're doing it in our heads. We're not actually doing what we're doing. If we're talking to someone, we're not just talking to them, we're thinking at the same time. If we're driving. Driving's a big one. People drive all the time. They're not just driving, they're thinking as well. They're doing something. Thinking is a doing. Thinking takes away your attention from what you're doing in reality, and it puts it into the mind. And that's what we call you're not present, There's loads of sayings actually that go along with this. Come to your senses. When someone's really lost touch with reality, we say, come to your senses. Well, that just simply means start to look, hear, feel, experience the visceral you, the real kind of you that's experiencing reality in the physical realm, not the mind. Get out of the mind. And of course, being absent-minded is another one. That's a funny word, but it's a bit like mindfulness. Mindfulness, the term suggests that your mind is full, but it's not. It means the opposite. It just means you're aware of what's going on in the mind. So when people say you're absent-minded, it basically means that you're not present in reality, but you're in the mind. But again, it's a contradictory term. You know, when you call someone absent-minded, what do you mean? You mean that they're lost in thought. They just daydreaming in another world, you know, another reality. So that's what I just love about the Dharma, man. I love the Dharma. I love what it teaches. It's very simple. It's very simple, and it's very universal. If you look at the teachings, it's very, very fucking universal. And I know I shouldn't swear, but the swearing is it's kind of like entertainment. It's not really aggressive. But yeah, I love it. It's a very simple teaching, and it's a very practical teaching. It's an ethical teaching, but it's also a practical teaching, and you can implement it in your life. But of course, the core foundation of all Buddhist kind of practice is meditation. That's number one. Then reading the Dharma is second. Following even the Dharma is second. Meditation is first, and of course, meditation is a part of the Dharma, but I'm using the word Dharma more as a philosophy and a way of life rather than the practice of meditation. Of course, what Buddha will eventually probably say to you is you should be meditating 24/7. There should be not a moment where you're not meditating. There should not be a moment when you're not aware. And eventually, a lot of us meditators, dharmic practitioners, will get to that stage where every moment is a meditation. Every moment is a moment to be aware of and to see and to watch and to be aware. And that's not scary, but what is scary, what's terrifying about it is that your old way of life will come to an end. Like it just will. And a lot of the times you may feel lost. What do I do now? But that's why the Dharma's there. That's why the Buddha's teachings are there. That's why, that's why there's a lot of these teachings that are out there, which you can find. Of course, Eckhart Tolle is a good source. And there's a few others, but I don't have any to name right now. You can get these guys and you can listen to what they have to say or read what they have to say, and they will kind of instruct you on, well, life before was more of like, you were doing whatever you're doing right now, but you were just internally arguing with everything and making your life miserable by shouting internally, arguing with people, getting into fights, having arguments, having anxiety, worrying about stupid shit, getting depressed about stupid shit. That was your life before, but your life now is going to be no different, except without that. You're going to do the same things you did before. You're going to get up, you're going to take a shit, you're going to walk, you're going to talk, you're going to go to your work, you're going to do all the same things, just without that bullshit, just without the added crap that you were dealing with. And when you realize that you were creating that stuff for yourself, and external stuff weren't really doing that to you, you were doing it. You naughty boy, you were making yourself upset for no reason. There's great freedom, there's great liberation, and that's what the Dharma practically offers anyway. And yeah, I'm just very happy to talk about it and implement it in my life and everything that I do. It's very fun. Mindfully eating is very interesting. You should try it. Mindful eating. It's nice. Take it easy.